All right, you can start, please.
Good morning, everyone. I believe you can all hear me. Uh, Thank you for joining us this morning. Today, I'm going to be talking about a critical tool that is very important in this modern software development. GIT. The topic today is a version control system, but today we'll be focusing more on GIT. A version control system is a tool that tracks changes to files over time. It's primarily used in software development, basically, but then it can be used for any type of digital projects. It allows developers to work together, track progresses, and revert to earlier versions if the case warrants it, if it's needed. Version control system ensures smooth collaboration, and GIT, which is our focus today, is one of the most widely used version control system. Like I already said, what version control system does is to record changes. It tracks and manage changes to files over time. So it allows us to developers or whosoever is using it to revisit previous versions of our codes or of our files. Version control system also help with collaborations, allowing multiple users to work on the same set of files simultaneously with control. We can manage conflicts and manage merging. We can do all that. We can also restore files with a version control system. If a file is accidentally deleted or modified, version control allows you to easily revert to a previous known good version. Then it allows for branch and merge. It enables developers to create branches to work on new features in isolation. You can do it on your own. You can have a branch of your own whereby you work on your part of the code that's been distributed for you. You can work on your part of the code while another member of the team is also working on his or her own part of the code without affecting each other. You can do it simultaneously. Then that changes can be merged into the main code base later. Linus Torvalds, who happens to be the creator of Linus and the creator of GitHub. It says version control is a fundamental tool that every developer should use. So you can understand how important it is for everybody to, as a developer, or if you work in a team whereby we have developers, or you work around software development, you're a member of a team that is developing software, you need to know how to use version control system. There are two types of version control system. We have this centralized version control system and the distributed version control system. In a centralized version control system, there is a single central repository that stores the complete history of the project. all the team members can access and collaborate on the project by connecting to this central repository. Example of this is a Subversion and CBS. Meanwhile, on the other hand, distributed version control system, with this, each developer has a full copy of the repository, included in the complete history of the project. You can have a full copy of your repository on your local system. So the developers can work independently. You can commit changes to your local repository and then synchronize your changes with others. Example of this include GIT and Mercury. Like I already said, with a centralized version control system, there is a single server that acts as a central repository to contains all the version files. Clients that are using it, for example, like a developer can check out files from this central location and make their changes and then commit their upgrades back to the server. The centralized approach simplifies the management and coordination of code base, but it also introduces a single point of failure. That's the only issue with a centralized version control system. There is a single point of failure, as the central server is essential for the entire team to access and collaborate on the project. So if everybody is connected to that server, whatever you are doing it directly, on that server. There is a single point of failure. Whatever that happens, a member of the team can just mess it up, and that is all. But with distributed version control systems, it allows developers to work independently. You can commit your changes and synchronize with central repository as needed. Yeah, everybody can have the repository on their local system. You can work on your segment of the project individually without affecting other members of the team. This decentralized approach offers increased flexibility, redundancy, and offline capabilities compared to the centralized version control system. These are the popular version control systems that are being used. The first one here is GIT. There is Subversion, there's Mercuria, and Perforce. Then let's come to the business of the day, which is GIT. What is GIT? GIT is a distributed version control system that allows multiple developers to collaborate on a project and track changes to the code base. GIT is a distributed version control system, like we have already talked about, that it allows multiple developers to have this. You can have your repository the same. Everybody can work on the same repository at the same time. You can have it locally. You can clone it to your local system. Every member of the team can clone it to their local system and work on the repository independently. Distributed workflow. GIT's distributed nature enables developers to work on the same project simultaneously, like I've already mentioned, without being dependent on a central server. Branching and merging. GIT's powerful branching and merging capabilities make it easy to experiment with new features. You can fix bugs and collaborate with team members. You can when you are working independently on your part of the project, you can always be creative and create new features on your own. This does not affect the main repository, the main code base here. So it doesn't affect other people's work. You can try whatever you want to try without affecting any other member of the team. GIT maintains a complete history of all changes made to the code base, allowing developers to easily revert to previous version or understand the evolution of the project. So GIT maintains a history of all the changes that you make. So in case you have done something and you would like to go back to it, GIT allows you to do that. You can always revert to a previous version of your work. Then the GIT is an open source project with a large and active community, providing a wealth of resources and tools and support for developers. I want to believe most of us here will understand what an open source application or open source tool means. What is a Git repository? A Git repository is a digital storage location that contains all the files and history of a project. It allows developers to track changes, collaborate, and manage their code base. We have already talked about this. Then we can view Git in this form. There is local. I mean, we can view a repository in the local way or remote way. Yeah, there can be local repository and remote repositories. Local repositories are stored on your own computer, while remote repositories are hosted on a server, such as GitHub, Bitbucket, or GitLab, or any other one. There are other ones. Developers can work on local repository and push their changes to remote repositories. We've already mentioned that. How do you create a new Git repository? You can use the command. There's a command git init in the terminal. If you are already at the location where you want to start your repository, at that spot from your command line, you can just type in git init. It's going to initialize your repository. So it's going to create a new repository for you. This will create a hidden.git folder in your project directory, which contains all the repository information. If your project already has a remote repository, you can clone it to your local machine using the git clone command. This will create a local copy of the repository on your computer. How is Git repository structured? Git repository contains various objects, such as commits, branches, tags, and more. These objects are stored in the git.git folder and help to manage the history and changes. So whatever you do on your Git repository, Git keeps a record of it. Git keeps records of it. So there is a structure for it, and it stores it in the .git folder. Git branching. This is a feature that allows developers to create and work on separate lines of development. Like I mentioned before, that you can have the repository on your local system. So while you have that on your local system, you can create a branch for yourself. So whatever you do on your local system, you can push it to your branch before being merged with the main code base. What are the benefits of branching? Git branching offers several benefits, including the ability to work on multiple features or bug fixes simultaneously, easily switch between branches and merge changes back into the main branch when ready. This promotes collaboration, flexibility, and efficient version control. In Git, you can create a new branch using the git branch command. This creates a new pointer to the current commit, allowing you to work on a separate line of development without affecting the main branch, like I already mentioned. On a new branch, once a new branch is created, you can switch to it using the git checkout command. This updates the working directory to the selected branch, so it enables you to start making changes and committing them to that specific branch without affecting the main branch of the project. So when you have completed your work on a branch and you are ready to integrate it you want to integrate it back into the main code base. So you can use the git merge command to combine the changes from the feature branch into the main branch. The feature branch is your own branch. So in order to commit it into the main branch, you use the command git merge. Git handles the merging processes, resolving any conflicts that may arise. So in case you run the command git merge and there is any conflict, it is Git is responsible for handling the process of merging it. If there is any conflict, Git is going to bring out the an information about it that okay, there is this conflict here, try and fix it. What is a Git commit? A Git commit is a snapshot of your project files at a specific point in time, including all the changes you've made since the last commit. So the moment you run the command for Git commit, it's going to create a snapshot of your project files at that specific time. Maybe the only thing you did is just change a line in your code, or you just made a little change. The moment you commit it, it's going to create a snapshot of that at that specific time and keep it in the history. How do you create a Git commit? To create a new Git commit, you first need to stage the changes you want. So there's something called staging. You need to use the command git add. The git add is what is going to create staging. When you add it, so it's like you are keeping it there. You are staging it somewhere that you can then commit it later. Or maybe you want to add more other features, you can quickly run git add and continue doing your work. Then you run git commit to create the commit with a descriptive message. Commit message should be concise and informative, describing the changes you've made in the commit, so that maybe when you are going through your logs later, you'll be able to understand what exactly you did, what exactly you have, the feature or the changes you have made at a particular time. You need to put a message there which will point you in the right direction, so that you will understand what exactly changes you have committed at that particular point. How do you view commit history? You can view the entire history of commit in your repository using git log command. So when you enter the git log command, it's going to bring out all the commit history. So like I said, if you put messages, git commit messages there, when you view your git log, you are going to see all the messages which will explain to you what you actually, the changes you made at that particular point. You can also undo commit. If you need to undo a commit, you can use a git revert to create a new commit that undo the changes, or you can use the command git reset to remove the commit from history. Git merging is a very crucial aspect of version control. It enables collaborative development and it maintains a coherent code base. By understanding different merge scenarios and techniques for conflict resolution, developers can effectively manage the complexity of merging branches and ensure the smooth progression of their projects. Git merging can be complex sometimes because of some conflicts that may arise. So it's a very important aspect of version control system that we must learn. Merging branches. How do you merge branches? Combining different branches of development into a single unified code base to incorporate changes from multiple contributors. That is what branch merging, that is what it does. How about conflict resolution? Identifying and resolving conflicts that may arise when merging different versions of the same code, ensuring a seamless integration. There's also fast forward merges, which is a simple merge scenario where the current branch can be moved forward to the tip of the other branch without creating a new commit. I mean, this part of version control is very important. It can be very complex. It can become very complex, and it can create serious situation if you are not careful with it. Git collaboration. One of the things that Git allows us to do is collaboration. So a scenario of John Smith, who happens to be a software engineer, Jane here is a technical writer, and Alex is a DevOps specialist. So this is a team. Imagine John Smith is the one writing, developing the software, whereby the technical writer is writing about the documentations and everything that has to do with this documentation. She's keeping record of that, and they are all working together. Where the DevOps engineer is already working on how they are going to deploy it, and everybody is working together on a particular project. So they are all sharing a code base. As the software engineer is working, the technical writer and the DevOps engineer, they can also continue doing their work without affecting each other. Git collaboration features like branches, merges, and pull requests enable teams to work together effectively. It also enable them to manage changes and maintain a cohesive code base. Git branches, like we've already mentioned, allow developers to work on different features or bug fixes simultaneously without interfering with the main code base. Git merge combines the changes from different branches, with allowing developers to integrate their work and resolve any conflicts that may arise. Whereby Git pull requests enable collaboration by allowing developers to propose and review changes before they are merged into the main branch. We've already talked about Git workflow. It's just talking about you creating a new branch, you make changes, you can stage your changes and commit your changes. What are the benefits of version control? We've already mentioned collaboration. Another thing is code organization. Version control system maintain a structured history of code changes, enabling developers to track, manage, and navigate the evolution of their project with ease. Backup and restoration. Version control system provide a reliable backup mechanism. I think we've already mentioned all these points. Feature tracking. Version control system enable developers to associate specific changes with features or bug fixes. facilitating better project management, issue tracking, and release planning. Then we mentioned branching and merging, how important they are, and the benefits they bring into version control system. In conclusion, version control systems are essential tool for modern software development. They provide a reliable, collaborative way to manage code changes over time. Choosing the right version control system for your project's needs is a very important thing. It's so crucial for ensuring the success of your software development efforts. Version control systems are indispensable for modern software projects. So they provide a reliable and collaborative way to manage code changes over time. They are reliable management of code changes. They allow developers to track, revert, and collaborate on code changes, ensuring the integrity and traceability of your code base. They also enable teams to work together seamlessly, allowing multiple developers to contribute to the same code base and resolve conflicts effectively. Does anybody have a question before I ask mine? Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, you can hear me.
I was asking if anybody has a question.
I guess the silence means we do not have questions. People do not have questions.
Okay, let me ask my own question then. What is the primary difference between a centralized version control system and the distributed version control systems like Git? The first option says in a CVCS, that is the centralized version control system. Each developer has a complete copy of the repository, while in the distributed DVCS, the repository is stored on a central server. In a CVCS, option B, in a CVCS, all version history is stored on a central server, whereas in a DVCS, every developer has a full copy of the repository history. In this option C says in a CVCS, only one developer can work on the project at a time, while in a DVCS, multiple developers can work simultaneously. I mean, what is the answer, please? Are you guys with me?
Yes, we are with you. I am with you.
Okay. So can anybody give us answer to this question, please?
Okay.
You want to answer?
C.
Okay, yeah, C seems correct too, but then the answer is B.
B.
Okay.
The answer is B. The second question, what is the purpose of creating branches in Git? The options are there if you are following me, please.
B. To work on new features or bugs without affecting the main code base.
Yes, that's correct. Thank you. The third question, which of the following statement is true about GitHub and GitLab? I'm not going to read the option. Please read it yourself and give us answer. Anyone?
It's B.
Okay, that's correct, Mr. Samuel. Thank you. Thank you for listening. We have come to the end.
All right, so thank you so much for the presentation. Actually, the questions are, I like the fact that you had so many questions, so it's kind of engaging. Okay, thank you, everyone. Please, let's try to make sure of dates for the presentation, okay? And please ensure that you send your public artifacts, your approved slides and approved topics before your presentation. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Do have a productive day.